So today we're going to talk about what to look for when you are walking through and evaluating a rent property. So I'm just going to show you the things that I look for during my initial walkthrough, and this is by no means an all-encompassing list. If the house passes my initial walkthrough, then I'll make an offer, and if the offer is accepted, then I'll go back and I'll do a much more thorough inspection of the property. So as we pull up to the house, one thing that you should be paying attention to: trees. Are these trees healthy? Are any of them leaning over the home, toward the home? Look for dead trees that need to be removed. If there are any trees that are posing any threat to the property whatsoever, you should get someone to come out and give you a bid on those things too, and you should always take that into consideration when buying the property. Walk around the exterior of the home and look at the condition of the eaves and the overhangs, the wood banisters on the porch. Are they all sturdy? Are they rotten? So this house has been freshly painted. The wood has all been repaired, all the rotten wood, but you do want to make sure that on all your eaves and overhangs and around the windows, that if there's any rotten wood there, that's been taken care of and painted and sealed and caulked and all of that. Water is your enemy, so you need to do everything you can to keep water out of your property. So another thing is to walk around the home and look at watershed. How does the ground slope? If you have a situation where the water runs into a house or pulls up next to the house during a rainstorm, that's something you really need to pay attention to. You also want to look at your roof. How does the condition of the roof look? If you're not really experienced with roofs, it's hard to look at it and tell if it needs work or not. Go up to the house where the water comes off of the roof and hits the ground. And if you see a whole lot of the little asphalt pebbles from the roof, that's a sign that the roof is probably on its last days and will need some work down the road. If the home needs a new roof, it's always best to account for that in your offer because roofs are expensive. So this house actually has a flat roof. Flat roofs are not good. It's not a question of if they will leak, it's when are they going to leak. Now on this one, we had a commercial product put down that is used for flat commercial roofs. It's a closed cell foam with like a silicone paint over the top of it. I'm not really sure what it's called, but we've had that done. It has a 30-year warranty on it. But again, we're flipping this house. But if you're renting a house, you'll want to do the same thing. Okay, so going into the house. Oh, ow. Okay, so when you first walk into the home, how does it smell? There are three main smells that I'm concerned about. That's mold, pet urine, and cigarette smoke. A moldy smell is a huge red flag. If you get a moldy smell when you walk into the house, that means that more than likely there is a water issue somewhere. It could be that the house has been closed up for a long time and it's just musty and needs to be aired out. But that's something you should definitely track down or do a little bit more research on. You definitely do not want to get stuck with a mold problem. If you smell mold, always do some homework, maybe even call an environmental company, have them come in and do a little investigative work to make sure that you're not getting stuck with something that you don't want. That is a very expensive, very bad problem. So the second thing, pet urine. If you smell pet urine and there are carpets in the house, you're absolutely replacing all the carpet in the house. So that's an expense that you need to account for when you're making your offer. If there's no carpet in the house and there's a pet urine smell, then that's a problem too, because is it hardwood? If it's hardwood, then that means that more than likely that smell is soaked into the floor, and the only way to get it out is to resand, refinish, and reseal the hardwood flooring. That's expensive. Do you have vinyl plank flooring? If you have vinyl plank flooring and you have a urine smell, then the urine may have gotten under the plank flooring, and the only way to get it out is to pull out all the vinyl planks, clean the floors, and put down new flooring. So pet urine is a potentially very expensive fix. So if you smell it, try to figure out the origin of the smell and figure out how to best fix it. Honestly, the easiest fix is if it's in carpet. Pull it out, clean the floor, put down a solid surface floor. Don't go back with carpet in a rental property. You will regret it. I never put carpet in any of my rental properties. I use luxury vinyl plank flooring, it looks like hardwood flooring, but it's vinyl and it snaps together. It's durable as heck. It's cheap. It lasts forever. So the third smell that I'm concerned about is cigarette smoke. Cigarette smoke soaks into everything. So if the house has a heavy cigarette smoke smell, you know you're getting rid of any cloth surfaces. So your curtains would have to go away. If there's carpet, that's got to go away, which again, is not that big of a deal. I like to get rid of carpet anyway. With cigarette smoke, it's like a tar and it sticks on solid surface. You're absolutely going to be scrubbing solid surfaces with cleaners. Then you're going to be sealing it with like a primer, like a Kilts, and then you're going to have to repaint every single surface. And you'll have to scrub the floors, you'll have to change out or clean all the light fixtures and the fans. More than likely, you're gonna have to have someone come in, clean out your air conditioning and your vents. Cigarette smoke is a very, very difficult smell to get rid of. If you go into a hotel room that's been smoked in, you know it's been smoked in. There's like almost no level of cover up that you can do. It's a project that honestly, a lot of times I don't want to take it on unless it's a really good deal. If it's a really good deal and I can hire someone to come in and take care of it for me, that's great. I don't feel like you can get rid of the smell. It's just there. Pay attention to your walls and your ceilings. I don't have any examples here that I can show you, but if you see cracks in your sheetrock or cracks in your ceiling, if your doorways are uneven, look at your floors. Like this house is pier and beam. So with a pier and beam house, you're going to have a little settling. So you'll have some areas that are higher or lower than other areas. And that's totally fine. It doesn't mean that the house has problems. Now, if you have soft floors, if they're spongy or if they bounce, then you'll want to crawl into the house and look at those areas and make sure that there's not some substantial damage. If you start to notice a consistent theme of settling, then go outside and look at the brick. Like this is a brick house too. So go outside and look at the brick. If there are cracks in the brick, then that's a sign that you want to have a professional come and take a look at the foundation of the home. Foundation problems can be very expensive. So any sign that you may have a foundation issue need to be checked out. Do we see any signs of water damage? If you look right here, these little drip marks, that is a possible sign that we've had a water situation, and it looks like there's some here. So what that tells me is that this roof has had a leak before. Always look for signs of water damage because water is the enemy. So bathrooms are a place for potential water damage. So always look around the tubs, look on the floor, come look at the sink, look at where the backsplash and the sink meet. Make sure that water, because a lot of times you'll see cracks back here and water can get in and cause water damage behind the sink. So just check for those things. Look under your sink. Make sure there's no water damage down there. Make sure the cabinets are not rotted out, because a lot of times you'll find that there's been a water leak under the sink for years and they just didn't do anything with it. So you'll find rotten cabinets, rotten flooring. So every place where water comes into the home, look for water damage. I bring a flashlight with me and I'll get down on my hands and knees and I'll look under the refrigerator. It is your responsibility to make sure that you're getting a good deal and getting what you're paying for. So whatever you can do to inspect the property, it's totally fine. And if people look at you funny for bringing a flashlight and crawling around on the floor, then that's fine. Let them look at you funny, but at least you'll know what you're buying and you won't get burned on some things. But check out your windows, make sure that they're fine, that there aren't drafts coming through, that they aren't broken. Always look at that. I always like to come in the bathrooms, just check all your water, make sure the faucets work. Run the hot water until it gets hot. Make sure you actually have hot water. Now, some houses may not have the gas turned on. If they don't have their gas turned on and they've got a gas-powered hot water heater, then it's not going to work anyway. But just so you know, always check to make sure that you have hot water. And if you don't, make sure that you don't have it because there's no gas. I always like to look under sinks as well, just to make sure that the plumbing is done correctly and there are no water leaks there. Toilets, flush a toilet, make sure it flushes and it works. Light fixtures, go around and turn on all the lights. Are they blinking? Are they acting funny? Is there a delay when you turn on the light switch before the lights come on? Is there anything about the electrical that seems like it might be off a little bit? I like to make sure that all of my rent properties have a vent in the bathroom and I like the vent to come on whenever I turn on the light. And the reason is your tenants, when they take a shower, in the bathroom steams up, if you don't have a vent in there, then you could start to form mold or mildew. And from my experience, a lot of tenants, they don't clean it. So when you get the property back, it's a mess. Or you get a phone call that says there's mold in the bathroom and you have to go fix it, when really all they need to do is wipe down the surface with a bleach cleaner. This light actually doesn't work. Another thing is check the AC and the heater. Turn it on. Turn on the thermostat. Turn the AC on. Make sure that it cools. Turn on the heat. Make sure that it heats. Those are big deals. And your home inspector will check most of these things for you, but it's always good if you check it too, just in case they miss some things. I like to be there when the home inspector comes because I like to ask questions. So I have my notebook of all of my findings, and then the home inspector, when we go through the house, I give them their space and I let them do their own thing, but then I like to sit down with them and compare notes. Like, here are the things that I found. Did you also find these things? What's your opinion on this? I have trust issues, and I like to know that everything has been looked at and that nothing has been overlooked. Because when it's all said and done, that home inspector, they're not the ones paying the mortgage note or paying for the maintenance. It's you. So you have a vested interest in making sure that everything is found, and that when you're negotiating on price, that you take all those things into consideration when you're making your offer. So just remember, nobody is going to look out for you as much as you will look out for you. So yes, it's great to have a home inspection, and it's great to have other people come and look behind you. It's great to have a good realtor. It's great to have a good banker. All of those things are good and they're important, but it's also on you to make sure that you are doing your homework. All it takes is for a home inspector to be having a bad day or to be in a hurry and not spend the time that they should spend, and they just overlook things because they're in a hurry, or even worse yet, they could be neglectful and just check boxes to get done quicker. At the end of the day, we're all human. We all have good days and bad days. So it's best if you spend a little bit of time yourself, look at the things that you know to look at yourself, and compare notes with the home inspector. And any major problems that you find, you should definitely address those in your offer. If the house isn't priced appropriately, considering those things, you should definitely negotiate to either have money taken off so that you can fix it, or have them fix it. I prefer to fix those things myself so that I know that it's being fixed correctly, and I can also control how much is spent fixing it and making sure that it's done right, if that makes sense. I like to fix all of my own problems. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If there's something that you think people should be looking for that I didn't mention, I'm not perfect. Please put it down in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. It would be great to hear from you guys, to hear about your experiences, so that we can all get better at doing this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell people about my channel. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.